FM.
WOON, Woonsocket.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And good morning to you. It is Coffee and Time on ON, AM, and FM. On Tuesday morning, it's June the 24th. We say good morning to you. I'm Joe Callahan, and we'll say good morning to Ed Carew. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning.
And Linda Tebow is here. Hi, Linda.
Good morning.
We're all soaking in the fine AC here in the station.
Yes, nice and cool.
And I feel bad for people that don't have air conditioning in this
It's going to be
in this
tough
type
today.
of
Be
weather
careful out
because
there.
and you say, well, yeah, it's only going to be 2 days, nothing to worry about. That's a long 48 hours. You're in
is,
when you're in
yeah.
this heat.
Yeah.
And you're just like, whoa, when is it going to end? All right, Ed, it is time for our first message from the Carew Investment Group.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group. Phone number is 765-8880. We've got some simple advice about investing. Well, the truth is, there is no simple advice about investing. The old days of financial uptrends and downtrends lasting for days, weeks, and months are long gone. Sometimes trends last for only part of a day before changing direction. And investing is not an activity for those who can't take the time to study each twist and turn for the opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, we've seen them all, and we'll invest for you the same way we invest for ourselves. Carefully, very carefully, and it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with us. So give us a call at 765-8880. Our office is conveniently located at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3 in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, Ed, thanks. And let's see. They opened up the time capsule in
Yes,
in Pawtucket.
yeah.
Both of them.
Both of them,
And
yeah.
so I was interested to see what was in the one they buried in for the longest game, and there were a lot of stuff from 1981. So there was a poster that commemorated the longest game. So I had the box score in there and a bunch of different pictures and like that. And they were smart. They said, let's laminate this first, so it'll protect against who knows
Right, exactly.
moisture and stuff like that. So that was in there. A 1981 Paw Sox official program probably cost 50 cents or 75 cents
right.
back in those days for that. The International League of Professional Baseball Clubs, the official scoring form. There was a person that actually wrote on it, the official score to keep track of the game. That was also laminated because it was a piece of paper.
Well, sure.
And so you don't want to get that ruined. Let's see. Scorebook pages. They had a signed baseball with all the Rochester Red Wing players on it. Right, small.
Right, yeah.
It's a small ball. They had a signed baseball from the Pawtucket Red Sox players. They had another baseball that was signed by Ben Mondor at the time. The president of the International League came down. His name was Harold Cooper. General manager Mike Tamburo. The person that created the time capsule, his name is Leroy White. And then there's a fifth signature on it. Nobody knows who it is.
Oh, really?
It
Really?
just says unknown person after that. Now, I was going to take credit for that.
Well,
but
it must have been you.
it was not me. It just says unknown person. And, they probably showed it to Mike and said, well, who is this? And
Right.
he was like, I don't know. And, you got to try to remember back, well over 40 years ago. Well, who do we pass this ball around to?
Right,
And
yeah.
you just couldn't remember. They put a Pawtucket Red Sox baseball hat in there, and dark gray PVC plastic pipe was used for the time capsule with welded end caps. That's what kept everything nice and tidy in there. The one from 1940 had a letter to prosperity, so I guess that means to people in the future. That's what that means, right?
Yeah.
That was dated November 3rd, 1940, from the special committee created for the Pawtucket Stadium. Signed by the mayor at the time, Thomas McCoy, and then a bunch of other people as well. A standard envelope with the Pawtucket office of the mayor sealed, and a Cooper box with inserted copper cover. So there wasn't too much there in the first one. So they opened it up yesterday, so there you go.
Yeah.
So
Well,
glad they found everything.
I was listening and watching that, and I said, aha, I never knew why it was McCoy Stadium, then I knew it was
Oh,
the
named
mayor.
after the mayor.
Yeah, I did not know that. I bet you did because you used to be there. Yeah,
I mean, after
they had quite a few people that were there.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I saw it
yeah,
on Channel
yeah,
12. How
yeah.
a lot of people were there.
That's
Um,
interesting.
I would have liked to have been there, but yeah, it was neat. We always joked about it because Thomas McCoy didn't have the best reputation.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. See, yeah.
No, he was, he's a tip. I can say this now because he's gone.
God
he
rest
was
his
your
soul.
typical Rhode Island
Politician.
politician. What's in it for me? It's
Say
stuff in the pockets. That's what I was told. He
Yeah.
was not. He was a corrupt guy. So.
Wow.
Oh well, and I don't know if I told you this. For years before they moved, the word went out that we really should change the name of the stadium. It's been McCoy for so long,
Yeah.
and no one knows who this guy is anymore, and we should change it to Ben Mondor Stadium. I said, well, no, that's a nice idea. And so, but when they ran it by Ben, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Just no, he just didn't want it
Right.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So what they did is they named a street after Ben. So
Oh.
that small street where the fire station is, I don't know if you can picture McCoy Stadium.
Yeah.
That's Ben Mondor Way.
Wow.
I think it's still there. I don't
It's
know
like
if they took it
Yorkie
down.
Way,
It's
yeah.
like Yorkie Way,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the stadium was the only mailing address
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah,
So
right,
it
yeah.
became one Ben Mondor
that's
Way.
good.
So
But, yeah.
they said, is this okay if we do it for you? Yeah, that part's all right.
Good.
But no, it didn't go on the stadium. So.
Yeah.
There you go, little Pawtucket history for you.
Well,
there,
they were
so.
right because I didn't have a clue.
Who he
why
was?
It was McCoy State.
You never heard of that mayor's name? I mean, let's
No.
go back to the
That's-
40s. So
Well, that's before. I mean, I'm old, but but I don't think I was born
no, you didn't
yet.
kick it around. No, okay. All right,
You
and
didn't vote for him, right?
No, I surely
Yeah,
did
didn't
not.
they said they found the time capsule on the field in front of the batter's box.
Right.
I thought it was under the home plate.
Yeah.
I was in the general area.
Yeah.
But,
But they had that story about the young boy that was there. His father.
Yeah, it was his
from-
father
His father
buried
from
it.
Riz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he knew where it was.
He knew where it was.
He was there
yeah.
with his
And he
dad
was old
buried it.
enough. He was a young guy, but he was old enough
think
to
it was-
remember.
I think it was 9. Or
yeah.
something like
yeah.
that.
They had
yeah.
a picture of him.
Yep.
You know, I think it had. That's the thing. Those things have a nice history. But one thing, and that happened up in North Smithfield because they had done a time capsule in front of the Memorial Town Building, which became Town Hall for a while. But
Mhm.
it was really dedicated for World War I vets, and they had done a time capsule, and then nobody was alive to know where it was.
Oh.
So it can be a problem when you do a time capsule.
You gotta write
Tell-
it down.
Write
somewhere.
it down, the location, so
Where it
that those
is.
people in the future find it.
Where it is.
But it was good because that young man, well,
He
he's
helped
not
a lot.
Well, he knew where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
And-
the one that told them go there.
So I'm glad people, like myself and other people came forward and say, yeah, it's there. We just don't know where it is.
Well, that's what
But then this guy comes forward
Yeah.
and says, I know exactly where it is. So
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
I
people are
think
still
that's
around.
that's so neat when they dig those things up and
Yeah.
you see what's in them. Yeah.
So the next thing is that they're going to build the high school there at McCoy
Yeah.
Stadium. The foul poles down the left field line and the right field line are still standing, and they say they're going to incorporate it into the high school building. I don't know how,
That
and
would be.
I don't know what they're going to
Well, I
use it
think,
for.
You know, people are sad that it's not there anymore, and
Yeah.
you know, I think you need to pay homage to those.
That'll
At
be
least a little
yeah.
something, something.
So that'd be nice, huh?
Yeah.
I just
yeah.
don't know. I'm trying to think of other high schools. What do you need a big pole for? Other than this is what was here.
Yeah. Well, make a flagpole out of it.
I guess you could do that. Is it? Well, it's yellow though. You don't.
Yeah,
Flagpoles are normally
no,
not yellow.
No, they're
like that.
not. No, I'm sure they'll. You know, they have architects are very smart.
Yeah, they
know
figure
how
these things out.
Well, they know how to incorporate things like that and make them part of the building.
All right, Ed. We had a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. It lasted a few hours.
Half an hour.
And now, from what I'm reading, they've both thrown it out the window, and now I just read that Trump is saying to Israel, "Stop bombing Iran." So, where does it go from here? Any will they stop?
Yeah, they'll stop
But when?
right now.
Oh, okay, because you said so.
I said so.
Well, I hope it does. Because I was reading the stuff last night. It's like, oh, this is great. Gee, he came up with that really quick. And then, I even said, I hope they abide by it. And then they're still lobbing bombs at each other.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, from what I heard this morning, Israel fired off a whole bunch of stuff right after they signed the forms. So, so that.
Well, wasn't the deal? Okay, we signed it, but it starts like in a few hours.
Well, they had 12 hours for Iran to stop, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But Israel just within the hour sent up the biggest amount of missiles and bombs and everything else that they had sent up yet. And apparently Iran sent, from what the president said on the way in, they sent up one, but he says, I don't even know if they meant to send that up or if it was already in the air and and they couldn't stop it. He said, but it landed in nowhere,
okay.
So, Israel again sent up another sortie of planes, and that's what Trump was saying. He told them, called them back. So
And did they?
I don't know.
No. Okay. All right. Well, it goes on, and there we go. All right. There was cooling centers are open statewide today. They say it's going to be hotter today than yesterday, but can you really tell the difference between 98 and 102?
Absolutely.
Hot is hot.
Hot is hot.
There's hot, and then there's wicked hot.
That is wicked hot.
There you
That's
go.
right. And we're in.
That's wicked hot.
And we're
That's
it's
wicked hot,
now.
yeah.
So right now.
Yeah.
So I had something yesterday, Linda, that said, the medical community's kind of back and forth on how much water you should drink in a day like this. But they basically came down. They basically all kind of agreed, 4 to 6. What was it? 6 to 8. 6 was in there. 6 cups of water is kind of like the median.
Right.
You should strive for that. Make sense?
Well, it does make sense because, especially especially for older folks like me, that might be on a lot of meds. I don't take a lot of meds, but a lot of people do, and many of those meds can dehydrate you. And so it's important that people drink. And, you don't take the bottle and slug it right down. But, no, because, then you're into the bathroom. But, drink it slowly. And it's important. It is important because, especially with this heat, everybody's sweating. You're losing a lot of sodium. You can run into major problems. So it is important that we drink.
Okay.
And try not to do too much.
Right.
And stay inside.
And I saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
People still jogging.
Yeah.
No, naturally, they were younger,
Sure.
very fit.
Yeah.
I said,
Doesn't matter. Well,
it doesn't. I said, I hope they know what they're doing. 'Cause
well,
it was
and
really
you
hot.
know the thing is, we used to always say, "We'll do it in the cool of the day." Well, there's no cool of the day.
We already passed it.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went out with the dog early this morning, at 6 o'clock, I think it was already hot.
It's already in the
It was
70s.
already
Yeah.
in the 70s,
Yeah.
and so there was no cool of the day today, and so they got even young.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, because when you're young, you're like,
Yeah,
I can do everything, but it's a serious problem, and the air quality.
It's gonna be much worse.
Yeah, and now it's the whole state. Originally,
Yeah.
they were saying just down by the coast here in Rhode Island, but now it's encompassing the whole state. So, if you've got any problems like asthma, or COPD,
Makes it worse.
it's going to be worse, so
Yeah.
much worse. So go to those stay inside.
I put out some trays of water last night for the animals.
Right.
And within an hour of me putting a couple of these things out there by this big blue spruce that we've got in our yard, and that's where I usually feed the deer in the winter. There were some birds were in it, like flopping around
Yeah.
and trying to get cooled off. And this morning when I got up at 5 o'clock, put the coffee on, I'm looking out the door, and there was a bunny right or maybe 5 feet away from it, and it was sneaking up on it like it didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
You know, and so I watched him as the coffee was brewing. You know, I watched him, and eventually he worked up the nerve to go
Got to it?
up to it, and he started drinking.
Drinking,
So
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
happy about that.
Did you refill it? Before you
No,
left?
no, I'll do that when I get home.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, but the animals know.
Yeah.
You know, they have more common sense than people sometimes. But they know. I mean, they were saying, I forgot what zoo was closed because they didn't want humans there. But they'll hide. They'll go in a shaded area, or some of them that are ground animals.
Underground?
Will go underground and look for ways to be cool, and not do anything. Just hang out,
That's right. All right, we have to take our first break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way. Ed, time for your second message from the Carew Investment Group.
Okay, thanks again, Joe. Good morning again, everyone. Are you retired or retiring soon? Well, that's great. Congratulations. You may be retiring, but your money can't afford to retire. I'm Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3 in Cumberland, Rhode Island. At the Carew Investment Group, we offer personal investment management of client money, especially from the proceeds of their 401k distribution after they leave the workforce. So to find out more about our services and for professional management of your investments, you can call me or Paul at 765-8880. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Well, stop in and see, Ed. It's air conditioned there, Ed. Right?
It is.
Quite
Hopefully.
comfortable. Hopefully. that it holds up. All right. More Coffee Hands coming up. Comments or questions, call them in at 766-1240.
ON 1240.
Attention Rhode Island landlords. Did you know that Rhode Island has a new registry for rental properties and units? Register today at rentalregistry.ri.gov. It's the law. If your property was built before 1978, you'll need to submit a lead certificate from a licensed lead inspector. Getting a lead certificate may take some time, so start today. Learn more at rentalregistry.ri.gov. Help keep Rhode Island families safe. rentalregistry.ri.gov. Sponsored by the Rhode Island Department of Health and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Get ready for July 4th with early savings at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Stay Green or premium 2 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 6/25. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
And it's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. And I guess it was last week. So we had a week ago with the Karen Reed verdict that came down. Came down on a Tuesday, right? Okay. So we didn't get your.
I think it was Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday?
I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Almost.
We didn't know. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So surprised? Not surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised. I thought that she'd be off this time. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed.
Yeah, I was not surprised.
What
I
was
was happy about it, but I
That
wasn't
it's-
surprised.
And happy that it's over too.
Yeah, that too.
But now there's
Well,
gonna be
that part's over.
now there's a civil suit
Civil
coming
suit's
up.
coming.
Yeah.
Because
And
so we still don't know what happened to him in that. So the
No.
family doesn't have any
no,
peace.
but the state police and they're sticking by their story.
Yeah.
That it was her.
Yeah.
And not anybody else. And
Right.
I guess they don't want to look stupid and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we had the wrong person." So
Well, I think yeah.
and so
yeah.
they just
Yeah.
they say, "Well, we're gonna,"
Yeah.
or the DA says, "Well, we'll just start it over and go
Yeah.
look for somebody else to see
Yeah.
if we can find
Well,
it."
but, and that's the thing. So it's over for her.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's going
Well,
to be a
yeah, I
civil
mean-
suit, but the family still doesn't have closure,
No.
and that's sad.
No. All right. So I don't know when the civil trial starts. But
Yeah.
that'll be
Ooh,
that'll be
probably,
fun.
Yeah.
Just makes you reminds you of OJ, doesn't it?
Well, it's kind yeah. There you go.
That's what
yeah. Yeah.
And so this might be where she will be found guilty on the civil side and be charged. You got to pay all this money. I don't have it.
Yeah.
Kind of like OJ didn't have it at the time. So I don't know what they think they're going to do. All right. And the Celtics are trading away one of their better players, Drew Holiday.
And they
Yeah.
getting advice from the Red Sox.
Yeah. On how to trade your best player. Well, they look like they're trading him to a Holiday to Portland, and we get another guard in return, Afrani Simons, and we also get a pair of second-round draft choices. So, looks like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
On paper for the Sox. I mean, for the Celtics. So, as opposed to what the Sox did, but.
What was the score last night of the Red Sox?
Oh, they
Because I
lost.
went to
9 to 5, I think.
9-5.
well, how much?
I think it was 9 to 5.
Oh wow! But they were ahead. And then I went to
Yeah.
bed.
They,
And
they scored 3 runs in the first inning.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
Bueller
Yeah.
gave it
Blew up
right
again.
back. He blew,
Yeah.
yeah, right in the first inning. I
Yeah.
said, okay, I can't watch this. Goodbye. It's late. I'm tired. It's
Well,
hot. Yeah.
that's I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
right.
Why did did you see it? Why did Cora get thrown out of the game?
Again
two
last night
games in a
too.
row, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
don't
didn't.
know why.
No, I didn't watch it that long. I said I'm not staying up to watch this crap.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that was my feeling exactly.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Get up early today, you know. Yeah. Two in a row.
That's 2
huh?
games in a row, yeah.
Yeah.
In 2 different cities. It's probably a different umpiring crew. Usually they switch around like
Yeah.
that. I don't think one follows the other. So,
Well,
but I don't know. I don't know what the play was. So
At some point, I say no great loss, but
At some point, they're gonna fire him too.
yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know though.
well, it
I'm
all
not-
depends where they end up. And
Well,
if-
they're not
if-
ending up well so far.
Well, I mean, at the end of the year.
Oh.
If it's another disappointing season of coming in last place or not making the playoffs, they'll just say it was just we had you here for a number of years. It's just time for a
But
change.
Joe, it's how many years it's been? It's been how many years?
Well, we won the World Series in 2018.
Was it 18?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's 7 years ago now.
So it was in 2004, 2008.
But he wasn't the manager.
No, he wasn't. No, I rest my case. Something's wrong with this
Your
picture.
point exactly,
Yeah,
right?
bingo.
Well, he came in, and then we gave away all our good players. And with the whole Devers thing, I really put a majority of the blame on our old GM. Remember Chaim Bloom?
Yeah.
Well, he had to make the decision, along with I'm sure he got input from others. But we had Mookie Betts, and Alexander Bogaerts, and Rafael Devers.
Yeah,
And all 3 contracts were coming up for renewal at the same time.
yeah.
And they basically said, we can't keep all 3. We're only going to be able to keep one because they're all going to want $1 gazillion. And they did. So he had to make the move. Which one do we keep and which 2 do we let go? And they threw the money at Rafael Devers. And when that happened, I'm like, gee, I really would have gone with one of the other 2. And yeah, Devers can hit. But fielding, not so great.
No.
But they went with hitting instead. And then we got garbage for Mookie Betts. And
Yeah.
Bogarts went to free agency, and we just got nothing for him. So, and look how well they're doing, and we got not
Yeah.
much in
Yeah.
return. So,
Yeah.
and I think he's going to. By the way, I think Devers is going to do fine in San Francisco. He had a nice home run against the Red Sox.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
What was great watching the San Francisco series with the Red Sox
Yeah.
was watching Carl Yastrzemski's grandson.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
yes,
such a
yes,
good
yes,
player. I'm
yes,
thrilled
yes.
that he's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Just like his grandfather.
Just like his grandfather. He kind of looks at the.
He looks a
He
little
looks
like
at the plate
the
too.
plate,
His
yeah.
stance, huh?
yeah.
Kinda
his
like-
facial features. He doesn't
Yeah.
really look like Carl, but the way he plays,
The way
he bats.
the way he
You say,
bats. Yeah. Huh?
Those are the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
that swing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ed, I don't know if you've noticed, but gas prices have spiked in Massachusetts in the last week.
I noticed that because I
Okay.
filled up last Friday,
Okay.
and because I use premium in my car, and it was like, whoa, what happened,
happened?
here?
Well, Rhode Island too. It went up in Rhode Island as well. I
Yep.
think I saw that this morning. Yeah.
And it's going to go up higher in Rhode Island,
Oh
too,
yeah,
because they
it
passed
surely
a
is.
2-cent
yeah,
gas
right now we
tax.
got the gas tax.
Um,
yeah.
So, for regular self-serve, not the premium, Ed, the regular self-serve climbed 9 cents in the last week. On the average in Massachusetts, $3.08.
Uh-huh.
So what's premium? $3.98?
Oh,
Almost
no, it was
$4?
over $4.
It was over $4,
Yeah, it was
okay.
like $4.39 or
Wow.
$4.49. It was
Wow.
high. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
But-
in Middleborough. Our regular gas is below $3 still.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Check it again today. It might not be.
Well,
But,
maybe. But
with-
it was Friday.
Okay. With the $3.08 a gallon, gallon of gas in Massachusetts is still 14 cents lower than the national average. So it's still doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And last year, same gasoline was $3.43 in Massachusetts. Trump said he was going to bring the gas prices down. That was part of one of his things he was going to when he was running. So okay, I don't know what is it because of what's going on with Iran.
Yeah, I think it's because of
it's
the
because-
threat of
Yeah.
closing the Strait of Hormuz.
Right. Hormones. Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't think that gas prices are going to go up.
Okay, but now that
And
they
moreover,
keep lobbing bombs at each other.
this
over
is
there.
the time of the year when you use the most gasoline for
Yeah.
travel.
Oh, right.
So,
Yeah.
you're looking at...
It
you know,
always goes. It
Well,
always
it
goes
always
up,
goes
right?
up in the summertime.
Yeah, right.
It
You're
always
looking at a
does,
short
yeah.
period of
Yeah,
time where it's
yeah.
going to come down, but it was down 10% yesterday
Yeah.
Yeah,
for barrels of oil. Yeah.
it's still over $70 a barrel, right?
I don't
I think I heard that yesterday.
Yeah.
73
Yeah.
something.
But they
Ed
didn't
will check on
close the
that.
Gulf of Hormuz. They didn't
No,
close it.
at least
Yeah.
not yet.
Not
anyway.
yet.
So.
I don't think they're going to. They need to keep it open because
Well, they need money.
need to send. They sell their oil to China.
You're right.
And
China
that's-
needs the
sends out.
oil, and they need the money.
They need the money. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we got to keep it open, and
yeah.
I think Israel's smart. They don't send their bombs over that way.
Yeah.
We're just trying to hit the nuclear sites and not the gas production. What do you see for a gallon of barrel? Ed?
65.73 down $2.78.
65. Oh, okay.
Oh.
No, that's even better.
Yeah, it's
All
down 4% this morning.
Yeah.
You ever hear that old Robin Williams joke
Which
about
one?
about oil?
They're all old.
About well, yeah, I know. But he said that the United States, we should go to all the oil producing companies and say, all right, we've decided that gas is going to be $10 a barrel. If you don't agree, who are you going to sell it to? All the companies, all the countries should just say,
Yeah.
we'll all buy it for a little collusion. We'll all buy it for $10 a barrel, so lower the price. All right, we won't buy it. Don't think it'll work.
No.
No. Too bad. All right. Let's see. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, she's in a briefing call yesterday for governors on Sunday. With the Department of Homeland Security. They were talking about the situation in Iran,
Yeah.
and a national terrorism advisory was issued by Homeland Security after we bombed the 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Healy said, while there's currently no specific threat to Massachusetts, her office is coordinating with state, local, and federal authorities to closely monitor the situation. which is what they
McKee
always
was
say.
on that same
Same call.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, all right. We'll keep it. We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And I told Ed and Linda this because we got the story on it. My son, his girlfriend, my daughter. A few months ago, they decided, hey, we there's this musical act we really like, and he's playing at Fenway Park. And so in, I don't know, February, I guess, or March, they decided, hey, let's buy tickets. We the 3 of them all like this guy, and we'll go see him. And the guy by the way, his name is Hosier. If you want to go look him up, because I've never heard of him. That's how you know you're old. You just never heard of the younger acts. Hozier. But he's got to be big amongst the younger people
Well,
because
yeah.
it's a sellout.
Yeah.
So obviously some people know them.
There's an
know
audience.
this guy. There's an audience for him.
Yeah.
Well, back then in February and in March, they said, yeah, let's buy tickets for that June 24th show at Fenway. That'll be a fun night out at Fenway Park and with the show. And you know, it's not July yet, so temperatures will probably be in the low 70s or upper 60s. It'll be great.
Uh-huh.
Yikes! It's going to be 100 degrees. They'll feel like temperature's going to be 100 degrees at showtime, which is still tonight. But you get together with 35,000. That's about all that Fenway can hold of your closest friends.
Just a small group
Oh
of
my
people, right?
gosh! And you know, I feel bad. I also feel bad for the Hoosier who's got to go up there and perform in this heat.
Yeah.
He's the one that's got to run around and jump around and be exciting and not pass out or anything like that. I said, oh, I do not envy you guys going to the show. Channel 5 in Boston reported that concert goers will be allowed to bring in plastic and refillable water bottles and mini fans. Usually they don't let you bring in.
No, you can't bring in.
It says no
no
food or drink allowed in, but at least they're letting you do that to try to keep cool. So I wish them well tonight. If you're going to the show in Boston, best of luck to you. Here in Fenway, well, it's gonna be rough. All right, break time here on Coffee and time for the forecast, which is being brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
The National Weather Service has issued an extreme heat warning for today and an air quality alert. Sunny and very hot with a high of 102 degrees in Woonsocket. Heat index values as high as 111. Just a slight breeze from the west. Tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low of 77. Wednesday's weather, the beginning of a cool-off. There is a 50% chance of a shower or thunderstorm by 10 o'clock in the morning. Mostly sunny skies, hot with a high of 94. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy and cooler, 64 degrees for an overnight low. Thursday, mostly cloudy skies, 72. Friday, mostly cloudy and 70 degrees with an east wind. Saturday, mostly cloudy and 72. Sunday, mostly cloudy and 83. And on Monday, mostly sunny skies, high near 89 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, sunny skies, and it's hot and it's humid. We've got 81 degrees. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
They can diagnose and repair just about anything at State Line Service. From tires and alignments and front-end work on all makes of cars and trucks up to 1 ton to smaller items like brakes, starters, struts, exhausts, radiators, timing belts, and high-speed balance. State Line Service is a third-generation family-owned business, up to date with the latest technology. They believe in clear, honest communication with their clients. No double talk, no pressure. State Line Service, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line. State Line Service.
Voted gold in ON Radio's Best of the Blackstone Valley in 3 different categories. Best Furniture Store, Best Outdoor Furniture, and Best Mattress Store is Coletta's Furniture. They have a lot of new collections that have just hit the showroom floor. Come and see Coletta's Furniture 2-floor, 25,000 square foot showroom packed with great deals and brand name merchandise. Recliners, couches, dinette sets, and of course bedroom furniture with mattresses are at Coletta's Furniture, and they offer delivery, no credit needed options, and 1-year finance options. Coletta's Furniture, 598 Wood Avenue, Woonsocket.
We're local and live at 99.5.
And it's Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan with Linda Tebow and Ed Carew. And Ed told us last week that you didn't think Jerome Powell was going to raise the interest rates, and Ed was right again. Right?
I said lower.
Lower the interest rates. Yes, he didn't raise it either.
No, I said he was not going to do anything with the interest
Right,
rate.
that's what but
He did nothing.
he did nothing, as you said.
Followed my
He
suggestion.
listened to you.
Yeah.
But how, in your opinion, Ed, how does he still have a job? Because Trump is not a big fan of Jerome Powell's. How come he just hasn't? All right, you're not doing what I really want you to do.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he get rid of him and bring in someone that will do what the president wants?
I do believe that he can't fire him.
He
I
can't.
was going to say he can't. Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know, some law.
Law
some
says the president
whatever.
can't do it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unless there was, a major reason,
Like he killed somebody.
You
or
can't
something.
just say, I don't like what you're doing, so you're out of here, like he does with everyone else.
That's right. You
Yeah.
figured he could do
No,
that with
can't do that.
Powell.
Can't
Who
do that.
can get rid of
Well, you would
Powell?
have to do something majorly wrong. I don't even can't even give you an example.
All right.
You know.
Well, something illegal.
Yeah,
basically.
something illegal
caught.
or
Mhm.
something that is obviously not correct. Just because Trump wants interest rates lower, I mean, remember, this guy's a real estate guy.
Right.
So he wants interest rates at -4. You know,
Yeah.
that's not the job of the Fed. The Fed is to maintain interest rates and unemployment at in equilibrium, so that interest rates aren't so high that it'll cause a recession, which will make people lose jobs, and it can't keep them so low that it's going to cause inflation. So, you know, he's got a balancing act to do over there.
Okay.
You know, the Fed's got a tough job. They get blamed for all
yeah,
kinds of stuff.
Everything, right? Yeah. They're like umpires in baseball. It's always their fault.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
There you go. So
Just ask Cora.
yeah. So I guess so. The only thing that Trump really can do is just criticize when he does or
Yeah.
doesn't do something.
Right,
Basically.
All
All
right.
right.
I think his appointment ends next year, so you know he's not going to get reappointed,
Okay.
most likely.
Trump will put
But
in
who
somebody
knows?
else.
Yeah, he'll probably want someone else.
All right. All right. Well, Amazon, they continue to grow, and they're growing their presence in space. The company launched 27 Kuiper satellites into low Earth orbit yesterday from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. The Atlas V rocket launch was part of Amazon's mission to spread broadband internet around the world. Amazon has launched over 50 satellites. Eventually, the company wants over 3,000 satellites. It hopes to launch half of them by August of 2026. Can you imagine what the aliens are seeing when they look at Earth? What are all these things circling around this blue and green planet?
Cluttering,
clutter.
cluttering up my space, right?
Things are going to start running into each other.
Yeah.
Well, you would think so.
You get SpaceX doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starlink, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're doing that, and there's all kinds of other stuff up there from other countries.
Other countries.
Yeah.
You would think.
It's going to block
Are
out
we?
the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we running out of room up there?
A lot of space in space.
That's why they call it space, right?
Right, but you got to be in the there's the low Earth orbit, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
there's the higher Earth orbit. So
But it's-
different planes fly at different levels. So
But it's going to have some effect on us,
I would think so.
Earth. I mean,
Now, what is the reason for this? For communications?
broadband.
yeah, well, he
internet,
says
yeah.
they want their mission is to spread broadband internet around the world. So,
they
you
wanna
can order. So you can order Amazon from Zimbabwe. That's important.
Like they all have computers there that they could do that.
Well, when they get them,
When they
we'll
get
be
them.
ready for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They might want to say, well, it's for educational purposes. We want to educate the people in the third world countries, and through they can look stuff up on the internet. I mean but on the other side, they can also probably order stuff from us, which is what we really want.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I'm not in the boardroom, and
I
these
guess
things are done.
they want to go into the broadband business,
I guess.
like, Verizon and
And
Comcast and
AT&T,
T-Mobile
yeah,
and
and all those-
AT&T,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Starlink and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's so many you can't remember them all.
I know.
That are up there now. Well, that's what they did, and you just they have these launches now from Cape Canaveral. You never even hear about them.
Yeah.
It looks like they happen almost every day. All right, so there you go. Stay out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma today. The Thunder are having their parade. They won the NBA championship.
Oh, they did.
Yes,
They did.
Sunday. Yeah. So and they're having their parade today. So good for them.
In Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the weather's like in Oklahoma
Well, I was going to
today.
say, I think, things can
Between
be.
the tornadoes?
Yeah, and very hot there.
Yeah.
It's usually very hot there in the summertime.
Well, that's what you deal with when
Yeah.
if the Celtics had won it, they'd probably want to have their parade today too. And
Exactly.
how
Yeah.
awful that would have been. So I'm hearing about more people getting attacked in the water. And there was a story we had yesterday that someone thought they were bitten by a barracuda down in Florida. And another great white shark was spotted off the coast of New Jersey. And now a Jersey Shore swimmer is recovering in the hospital, being stabbed in the leg by an Atlantic needlefish.
Never heard of that.
It happened over the weekend on Long Beach Island. Authorities initially thought the swimmer had been bitten by a shark, but later said he'd been stabbed by an Atlantic needlefish, which has long, sharp teeth. They're not big or aggressive, we're told, but they are fast and they do jump out of the water.
Huh.
Must have just gotten away wherever it was
Yeah.
swimming or going after, or in between the fish and their food they were going after, and get out of here.
I never heard of
An
that
Atlantic,
kind of a fish.
Did
Yeah.
either.
Did you? Yeah.
No, maybe it's not one of those types of fishes that you get on your plate to eat. Just- nah.
And that's why they bite.
Yeah, they bite back. Put them on your plate and he bites you.
Here's another one. Second shark bite reported in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, they're all on their way up here to the Cape, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Block Island,
And they
and,
stop
Yeah.
for a snack.
and they gotta stay. Well, they gotta eat, you know. So it's a long swim.
Yeah.
Another shark bite is being reported on South Carolina's Hilton Head Island.
Hilton.
You know where that is?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Beautiful place. Yeah.
The victim is a teenage girl who's recovering after she suffered a leg injury consistent with a shark bite Sunday afternoon. It came less than a week after a 12-year-old girl was also bitten by a shark in the same area. So, well, warmer ocean water means sharks. Also means wherever the seals are too. So
Yeah.
stay away from the seals. That's who the sharks really want to go after. Okay. Now this is also bizarre. This happened over in France. Linda's gonna go. What's wrong with people? A dozen people were detained in France after they allegedly stabbed nearly 150 people with syringes at a nationwide street festival over the weekend. It sounds like a coordinated event. It happened in several cities across the country of France as people were out and about enjoying music and festivities at this event that was nationwide. Kind of like a 4th of July kind of thing,
Yeah.
where everyone would be celebrating. No word on what was in the syringes, but some victims, including children, reported feeling sick after the jabs. Authorities say they are carrying out toxicology tests, so we don't know yet what was in there, but there's just
Wow.
people going around.
Wow.
Why? I don't know.
I,
It's probably to protest Trump in some way. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Strange things happen in France. You know, they like to throw paint on paintings and
yeah, I know, but that's an interesting weapon of choice. is syringes, you
Syringes.
know. But I mean, that could do. Who knows what's in them?
we just don't know what's in them.
They don't
Yeah.
know. What are they?
If it's saline, yeah, well, nothing's gonna happen. But if you're you're feeling sick, you're feeling sick.
But did they apprehend these people?
12 people. Yeah. 12 people have been detained. So they've caught a few at different areas.
Right,
And we're just
yeah.
trying to. I don't know if they're talking or not.
Wow,
It's just bizarre.
that is very bizarre.
Maybe they figured they wouldn't get caught because needles are so small. If we're just walking around, you walk behind somebody, give them the quick jab, and keep moving.
Wow.
I don't know. It's
Crazy.
It is. It
That
is
is.
crazy. All right. Let's see. It's Take Back Lunch Day. Did
Say
you know
what?
that? It is Take Back Lunch Break Day.
Take back lunch break.
Yeah.
What would it tell us about that?
Well, apparently, and we're not going to confuse this with National Make Lunch Count Day. That was in April. But anyway, there was a Gallup poll reveals only about 1 in 3 employees say they're fully engaged at work, which takes a toll on productivity. And one way to boost engagement levels and overall job satisfaction is as simple as taking lunch breaks. So if you're able, today's a good day to take a little time out and take a lunch break. And some people, they like to say, I like to work through lunch. Look at nurses as a great example.
Well, yeah. No, exactly. When I was still in the hospital, many times we skipped lunch, but
Yeah.
take lunch break day. In the old days,
no,
we
take
all
take back lunch
oh
break
take
day.
back lunch.
So it's
Eat lunch.
Eat lunch. Actually, take a half an hour.
Yeah.
Don't do any work,
Yeah.
and just enjoy your
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah. Interesting.
Tough in that occupation of nurses because
Yeah.
you're being called all the time.
Well, it
unless
is.
you can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm not available. for
No,
the
you
next
can't
30
go
minutes.
someplace else. Not if you're in a hospital situation. No,
Yeah.
you can't.
I mean, there may be a break room, but they know where you are.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Well, we used to encourage. Interesting. I used to encourage all the staff to make sure they went to lunch and took a break in the morning and
In the afternoon?
and have the lunch. I didn't listen to my own advice sometimes, but well, because somebody had to cover when the people went to
Well,
lunch.
right.
You know, that's the thing. You know.
I remember Jane used to say that a lot of times, or most of the time, she didn't have a chance to have lunch because she was in the OR.
Well, that's
You
the
can't
thing.
say,
Oh,
"Oh,
right.
okay,
Yeah,
stop,
yeah.
let's
Yeah.
stop the operation.
Stop the operation.
It's
I
time
gotta
for
go to
lunch."
lunch. No, and it's true. And even up on the floors. I mean, you know, we used to say, okay, you go to lunch and you're staying up, but stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff happens in the hospital situation that you can't. Certainly in the OR. Or in the ER, any place in an acute care
Yeah.
facility, it's really hard.
And you must remember back to your supermarket days. You must have been telling people to go take breaks
Oh
and
yeah,
take
people
lunch
had
all the time.
regular scheduled lunches. Yeah.
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 They just didn't want to get in trouble with
Yeah.
the state and,
Right.
and like that. So yeah.
Well, it's required.
Well, right.
The labor laws
Well,
is required.
It was never a question of it being required or not. It was
You-
just
of
something
course,
that
it
we-
was common
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even in a hospital situation, especially up on the floors, not necessarily, you know, this was this lunchtime and that was this lunchtime,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to go to this one and you're going to go to that one. But if something happens, it's all
It-
hands on deck.
it's-
You
you
know,
throw it all out,
that's
yeah.
how it is. Yeah.
All right, break time once again here on the Coffee and program, and more coming your way. We ask you to please stick around.
OM 1240.
Is your relationship with your bank in a rut? Might be time for someone new. At Navigant Credit Union, we offer better rates, fewer fees, and support that puts you first. Don't put it off. Join Navigant Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Level up your summer projects with 4th of July savings on top brand cordless power tools from the Home Depot. Whether you're working on a fence, a planter box, or a new workbench, get the power and runtime you need with the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2 toolkit from the Home Depot for only $99, was $139. Get 4th of July savings on the cordless power you need to make summer projects easier than ever. Right now at the Home Depot.
ON Radio. Feel the spirit.
That's us. It's Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Ed Crew and Linda Tebow. And, you know, if you get a half an hour for lunch, feel free to, you know, go outside.
Get some fresh air.
And
Not
get some
today.
fresh air.
Not
Tough
not
today.
Not
Only spend
today.
spend 5 minutes outside,
Yeah.
and then get back inside in the air
Yeah.
conditioning,
Yeah.
because it's rough out there today. All right, and of course all the restaurants want you to take a lunch break and come
Yeah.
visit,
Right,
their
exactly.
restaurants. All right, if you didn't have enough reasons to go visit Las Vegas, here's another one. Dolly Parton is going to have a mini residency. That's what they call these things.
Yeah, yeah.
When entertainers put on a number of shows, and so it starts next week. Next week, yeah. It's set to take place December. Oh, no. I wonder why it says mini residency Monday. It doesn't start until December 4th, so you can make your plans accordingly.
Yeah.
In case you want to go do a little Christmas shopping in Vegas. She's going to be there December 4th through the 13th at Caesar's Palace. Parton hasn't regularly toured in almost a decade and hasn't had an extended run in Vegas in more than 30 years.
Wow.
Wow. All right. In a statement, The Rock and Roll Hall of Famer said, "To say I'm excited would be an understatement. Tickets go on sale on Wednesday." I bet she puts out a very good show.
She does.
I'm sure
bet.
she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see her?
No,
No.
but I've seen
Her sing.
sing.
Yeah.
And
But I bet the whole show is probably terrific.
yeah, and she's much loved. You know,
Yeah.
she's
Who
had,
doesn't like Dolly Parton?
well, that's what I mean. She had staying power. You know
Yeah.
that. You know, through the years, she's still popular. And
She's gonna be what, 75?
Oh,
78.
yeah,
She's 78.
78.
Wow.
Yeah.
I looked it up last night.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I said, how old is she anyway?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, all right, now you know.
I remember she's 2 years older than I am. You know, so if she's, I'm 76, so she's either 78
Yeah.
or I
Yeah,
didn't get the
in
exact
that
dates,
ballpark,
you
yeah,
know, but
yeah, yeah.
she's 78.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for her. All right, Linda, you're probably going to agree with this. Another medical thing. Exposure to wildfire smoke and heat stress may negatively impact birth outcomes.
I would think so.
Yeah,
I
it makes
would
sense.
think so. Sure, it does.
There was a study published in Environmental Science and Technology. Adverse outcomes at birth were particularly pronounced when exposure occurred during the month before conception and during the first trimester of pregnancy. So stay away from as soon as you find out you're pregnant, stay away from the smoke.
Well, the first trimester is really, you know, that when bad things happen for sure. Yeah.
Small for gestational age babies were among the adverse outcomes observed, and
Yeah.
researchers found that residents in a climate vulnerable neighborhood could increase the odds of a small for gestational age birth, especially among women exposed to heat stress prior to conception. Researchers hope the findings help residents and policymakers cope with long lasting fire seasons and emphasize the need for a holistic approach to the matter.
Yeah.
All right. I never heard of this man, Ed, but maybe you recognize his by name, Mick Ralphs.
Nope.
Does that name sound familiar?
No.
No? All right. He is a guitarist. He's 81 years old, and he played with Bad Company and Mott the Hoople. In fact, he helped found
okay.
Mott the Hoople.
Yeah.
Now it's ringing a bell?
Yes.
His rep confirmed his death on Monday, but no cause was announced. Ralphs wrote the hit songs for Bad Company like Can't Get Enough and Feel Like Making Love. The guitarist also wrote Rock and Roll Queen for Mott the Hoople. That's right. I didn't know his name either. I'm like, nope, doesn't not ringing a bell. So, but too bad that he passed away. I like the songs he wrote.
Yeah.
Good stuff there. So okay, all right. We'll see. Just that Ed might have heard it when he was here because we had it on our national news. There was an American Airlines flight flying from Miami to Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. This is not a long flight. This is 50 minutes,
Right.
maybe. Okay, 5 people were injured on the flight because of turbulence. 3 flight attendants and two passengers.
Oh.
Normally, the turbulence going north and south isn't too bad. It's going east and west that's usually a problem. But American Airlines is investigating the 5 people. It's not like I got a bump. They were taken to the hospital.
Wow.
They were hospitalized. 3 flight attendants, 2 passengers were taken to the hospital when they landed on Sunday night. The airline said the fasten seatbelt sign was on when the turbulence hit, indicating that passengers and crew should have been securely fastened. But some passengers say the sign was not lit up. And have pointed to weather conditions as another cause of the incident. And usually when the turbulence is that bad, and they'll flip on the fasten seatbelt sign, well, usually the captain comes on and actually says everybody,
yeah.
meaning the flight
Yeah.
attendants too.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Well,
buckle
yeah,
in. It's going to get bumpy real soon.
Yeah. Especially the flight attendants because they're walking around. I don't know. I always keep my seatbelt on when I fly.
They tell you to do that.
Yeah.
Whenever
Then
you're
you don't
sitting,
have to worry about it,
yeah.
right?
Whenever you're sitting down,
yeah.
just keep buckled.
Keep
Okay.
buckled up. Yeah.
Now, American Airlines has not confirmed any factors other than turbulence as the cause of the accidents, but the company expressed gratitude for the professionalism of the crew and the understanding of the passengers during this ordeal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say if if the 3 flight attendants were the only flight attendants on the flight. If it's just going from Miami to North Carolina, you think it would just be those 3.
You don't need too much.
You don't need
no,
more.
no,
You don't need 5.
No.
And it doesn't say whether or not the 2 passengers fasten their seatbelt or not.
Probably not.
Probably
not.
Yeah.
And probably that's why they're saying they didn't. The sign didn't go up saying, "Buckle up."
Even if the sign was up, some people don't do it.
No, they don't.
Oh, I know.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, but that covers.
Covers the airline.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen
Yeah.
video from inside an airplane when they hit turbulence and people fly out of their seats?
Well, yeah.
I have too. And
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, I can see where.
That's why I always
go up
keep
and
my
hit-
seatbelt
and
on.
and hit your head.
And hit your head. Right.
on the
Yeah.
overhead bin. So, yeah, I've been on a flight that was real turbulent.
Yeah.
And where was I going from? Indianapolis to Newark, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was just worst I've ever had.
Yeah.
And so bad that the woman next to me, there was me, I was in the aisle seat, me, aisle, woman. All right, she got sick.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And a few others got sick.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And it was
It usually takes one, and then yeah.
Well, it was a girls' college softball team. They were going to some tournament or somewhere.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of them all sitting in a row, and and I was seeing if I could help her any way.
Yeah.
But especially Linda, you know how girls are.
Yeah.
They all got together. I mean,
Yeah.
5 of them came running over.
Yeah.
I said, I'm just going to be in the way.
Yeah.
So I just sat there with my
Yeah.
seatbelt fastened.
They-
So
yeah.
I'll sit here nice and quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but then I asked the guy sitting next to me, who had the window seat. It was just 2 on each side. I said, "You doing all right?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm doing all right. All right,
Yeah.
all right, good."
Yeah.
I just wondered if he was going to get sick too.
Yeah. Well,
Should I move?
Should I get? Should I get out of the way?
give him the bag.
Here, in case you need this.
Yeah.
Justin.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Even though we've had, Roe v. Wade was shot down, and some states don't have abortion, the
Yeah.
number of abortions in the United States is rising. How about that? According to data from the Society of Family Planning in 2024, abortions totaled 1.1. Let me say this again: 1.14 million, despite years of bans and restrictions on reproductive care. The report found abortions delivered via telehealth. Are you kidding?
What?
Do it yourself?
What?
The report found abortions delivered via telehealth have jumped significantly since Roe versus Wade was overturned, but the majority of abortions still happen in person. Abortions delivered via telehealth are covered by SHIELD laws, which provides legal protections to clinicians who offer abortion care to patients in states with restrictions. I still don't know how they're doing it.
Unless they're using
Must be drug.
medical drugs. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They must be prescribing some kind of
Mm-hmm.
drugs. I hope. Not I hope, but not.
I know. Well,
not
initially
how
you
do you
think-
do this?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're thinking what are you telling the people to go out and get forceps and?
Well, no.
Jeez.
I would think that some kind of chemicals is what they're.
Take this
Yeah,
pill.
That's what I meant by drugs.
Yeah,
Yeah, drugs, chemicals.
And then
yeah,
I don't know,
because
in a half an hour take this and then
yeah,
mix these
yeah,
together at this
yeah,
time and
yeah,
it'll work for you.
Because yeah.
Wow. And to wrap things up, 16 people from 13 states have been hospitalized and 3 people have died. Possible listeria contamination. We had the story yesterday involving chicken Alfredo meal.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the
It's
sauce maybe.
chicken. Well,
The CDC is
it's in the
warning
chicken,
about fresh Realm chicken fettuccine Alfredo meals sold at Walmart and Kroger stores across the U.S. No Kroger stores up this way.
No.
They have been removed from the shelves, but if you have them in your freezer, you should get rid of them. Listeria poses serious health risks, right, Linda?
Absolutely.
Especially to pregnant women, newborns, older adults, and the immunocompromised.
Yeah.
You say Walmart?
Yeah, Walmart and Kroger stores.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't realize you could die from
Yes, you can.
listeria
yeah.
contamination.
Yeah, especially those that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Young, old,
Those-
and
and
pregnant. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I say, Ed, They never recall Oreo cookies. Have as much as you want.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
There's never a problem. It's always been something that's supposedly
Oreo.
healthy. Supposedly healthy. So there you go. My PSA for the day. All right, we've run out of time, so thank you very much for listening. Ed Crew, thanks for coming in today.
Always a pleasure.
All right, and Linda Tebow, thanks for being here.
My pleasure, as
All right.
always.
This is Joe Callahan. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do remember us coming up after the 9 o'clock news, and we'll talk again this afternoon at 2 o'clock here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
NBC News Radio, I'm Scott Carr. Israel confirmed a ceasefire with Iran overnight that President Trump revealed on social media Monday.